DJ Big D.
And I'm Day Slayer.
We're the Amp Collective. Episode 24. Day Slayer and myself will be talking to the crew who has made something so special out in Los Angeles. It goes by the name of Soulnic, and they are Extra Mild Sauce. Drack Muse, we have Rhonda Wagner, DeLeon Howard III, and Chavez Frazier, all here. Derrick couldn't join us today, unfortunately, Mr. Derrick Wize, but he's also a founder and maker and shaker of Extra Mild Sauce. So we're going to get into it with them, talking about how this whole cultural event came together. It's been going for over 10 years now, and they've been doing some things. There's some challenges, obviously, with COVID-19 in effect.
Yes.
2020 was quite something different for them, but they persevered and still got some new followers along the way. So coming up on this podcast, Extra Mild Sauce crew.
I'm excited. And you want to know why I'm excited?
Go for it, man.
Because you are the one that took me to my first Soulnic party in 2012.
I think I saw that in like an LA Weekly or something like that. I'm like, I don't know, the word soul got me. I'm like, oh, this is going to be off the chain.
Yeah, so jump ahead to 2020. Who would have known that we're going to be, interviewing them on our podcast 8 years later? So I'm excited because Soulnic is the real deal.
Yeah, I think so.
It's an amazing event. It's free for families. It's all about community, and they really, really, really put on a good event. So I'm excited to sit down with the whole crew.
Yeah, it's going to be quite something. I mean, these guys and lady, Rhonda, they have been putting it down for quite some time. And like, for me, the first time I went to Soulnic 2012, it was like all the things I imagined an outdoor house party in Los Angeles would be. That's what it said. I mean, picnicking outside, in the park. It was early. Bring you. I think I even brought like an air mattress out there. I had my own with a portable pump, grill, some cocktails and stuff, and just settled in and just enjoy the entire event from about 10 o'clock until about 7, 8 o'clock that night. It was a way to go.
Yeah, you had reserved parking for me, so Sybil and I rolled in when we could.
Like rock stars. I mean, I did all the heavy lifting. These guys.
Oh my God, our parking spot was right in front of where your guys' setup was at. Basically, I had to open up the car, get the cooler, walk it less than 25 feet.
Yeah.
And we were there.
Yeah.
So what else is up? What's been going on? How's COVID life treating you in South Central?
Well, the funny thing about it, I have been definitely doing the, quarantining in place. And I might have an acute agoraphobia, I might tell you. I might have a little taste of it. I've been doing things around the house. I make some runs to some big box stores to get some stuff that I need to fix and paint and patch and whatever around the house. But other than that, I really don't miss venturing out too far from the homestead. I'm okay with it.
You don't miss DJing on decks at Resonance?
I would miss it if people were out there DJing and on decks and I wasn't. Since that's not happening,
well,
I DJ right here. See that stuff right there? That's what I do right there.
I am with you 110%.
You know what I mean?
But there are some folks that are out there doing some stupid underground shit, and it's not good.
Yeah, that's not real smart.
No,
that's not real smart.
So I totally respect. I'm doing the same thing here downtown. If I'm out and about, I'm going to the store, or I am going out to a beach where there's nobody, or a mountaintop where it's just me. Other than that, I'm pretty much at home.
I mean, how would you feel if you contracted this thing being reckless? I mean, that's not the play.
No,
That's
not
not the
with
play, man.
no, especially not at all. With all the people that are who have to go to work, the essential workers that are out there trying to
Right,
stomp this shit out, and you're
right.
going to be one of the people to add to their workload. It doesn't
Mm,
have to be that way. So
yeah.
not
T, do me a favor. Step up a little closer to your microphone,
is that better?
or the seat, yeah, or crank up the volume a little bit. Getting a little bit, need some more
Can't hear me
audio on
now.
you. I can hear you now.
But yeah, I'm just trying to do my part. I think we're trying to do our part, and this will be our first virtual live stream with
Right,
other folks. I mean, we did one a couple weeks ago, just the two of us.
right.
Just the two of us. So,
Well, we used to have bring out a lot more kit to be able to record it, to edit it, you know, and getting people on the phone to get it. This streaming
streamlined.
it's just not only is it streamlining, it actually sounds like it's better coming through, and we can manage the audio and the media and the quality of the media coming through. So I'm all about it. And plus, we're now entering an age where it's not just having the audio portion of the podcast, but at least now to be able to afford blenders a visual representation. Now, if they want to see my beautiful grizzly self eating some peanuts,
Where,
drinking some beer and some Jameson, hey, have at it. This is a radio. This is a radio audio situation. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is all about. Keeping it 100 right here.
did you prep before? Like, I took a shower, put on my
Well,
shea
well,
butter.
normally every day I take a shower. Every day there's
Even
some.
even under quarantine, every day you take a shower.
Yeah, I be working, so I'm working. I'm showering. I've been lifting hammers and stuff, man. I can't tell you. I'm handyman Negro up in this piece. You hear me? I gets it done. Staining, spackling, planing, shaving, staining. I mean, woo. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. It's been a lot.
Can you believe we're like somewhere in August right now?
I know. This was going to be a really big year for us, man. This thing hit us like a ton of bricks like
Oh
everybody else,
my
obviously.
God.
Not complaining, but just making a notification on the
Yes.
whole joint. Yeah, so you rocking the new blend. That we got some new merch out there.
Look at
What?
that.
I feel you on that one. New merch, new merch, new
We're not on
merch.
the decks, but yeah,
I
we're
know.
online.
It,
We're not
it's
on the
it's it
decks.
feels weird. It feels so weird to be pushing stuff, but you know what?
I mean, even I think post-COVID, that live streaming and virtual podcasting and all that, I don't think it's going to go away because what it does is going to allow more people that aren't in the city that you're in to see what you're doing.
I
And
always thought that that was a big part of concerts that somehow
miss,
was missing. And I say that in part because I would see concerts maybe a year or two or even later than that that there was footage of. I'm like, well, how come I didn't see that earlier? Or maybe how come I couldn't go to a movie theater and that particular night one theater is dedicated to showing a live concert. So I can't, go to Amsterdam, I can't go to New York, I can't go wherever to
right.
see Prince live. But maybe I can come to a theater and have a similar experience seeing it broadcast just there. Now, I always thought that was a little interesting to me, why that's not happening.
I think that before COVID, live streaming kind of like was happening, but I think now with COVID, it's happening more, and they're putting more thought into the production, the audio, the visuals, because they're like, okay, these people can't be here where we are, so we got to give them like the best experience they can have do the audio and the visual. So I think,
Well, here's the thing. I don't even think it's all about the visual. I think the visual is important, but not as important as the audio.
then why are we doing? I think it's equally as important.
I went on a symposium somewhat years ago. There was a husband and wife team that did this documentary somewhere in India, and they were saying that they didn't have the best of equipment. Some of the stuff was small and minuscule, so they can fit into some of these spaces that were like kind of private and maybe doing some things on a clandestine level. So the images weren't that great. But one thing they didn't sacrifice was the sound. Because even if it's dark and grainy and you don't know what's 100% going on, the sound could be great. And I think that's what it comes down to. We're talking about music. So if we're somewhere in a rain, somewhere, and it's not great visually, like it's not the best of the best, but it sounds like it's booming coming out of your TV, out of your Bluetooth speaker, that takes it up to another level. Because I think a situation like this, like I'm not watching D-Nice or Questlove or whoever is streaming for the visuals. The visuals is an aspect of what they're doing, or what it is. What the experience is, the sound, what they're playing, how they're playing, that's the more pivotal point for me.
I won't argue that at all. It makes sense.
Well, you would lose anyway, so. I'm eating peanuts, y'all. I'm eating peanuts.
Oh yeah, and I can hear him through these headphones.
Yeah, what can I tell you? I don't want to tell you.
Like he's eating them on like right next to me.
Let me tell you something.
Can you stop with the peanuts?
You're the one that said, come on, stay, keep it real. So I'm keeping it real. Let me tell you something. When I was a kid, that's how this whole peanut thing started. When I was a kid, I was going to see my father play baseball or go softball. I go to the park, and there was always a lady there selling roasted peanuts in a brown paper bag.
Oh.
For like maybe 50 cents. Now, I don't know how she roasted them, where she got them from.
But you know they were roasted.
Well, 100% roasted, without a doubt. You could smell them. They were like maybe raw peanuts that she roasted to perfection. Now, you probably don't even get that in a lot of places. They were raw peanuts that were roasted to its flavor. And you get a bag, and it will be warm, man. It will be warm. And I'm seeing my old man out there, if he's playing, or I'm up in the stand, and he look at me, I look at him. I got me a bag of roasted warm peanuts, and maybe something to drink, like a pop, or we call it malt. And I'm good. I'm straight. No hot dogs, no pizza, just some warm, freshly roasted peanuts. To this day, that's one of the things.
Where do you roast them?
I do not roast them. I've now purchased them pre-roasted. Pre-roasted.
Gotcha.
It's just a thing, man. It's a thing.
That's a good thing.
It's just a thing. Good to know. Little known facts. Little known facts about DJ Big D, Derrick Davis. There it is.
Can I get a
salute? Ding, 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 ding. So,
I'm glad
extra mild sauce coming up, everybody. Can't wait. It's going to be quite something. These folks have been moving the needle, moving the ball.
10 years.
Yeah, it's no small feat.
Yeah.
It's no small feat. House music is quite an infectious thing, and it's has always been around, man. That's the thing. It's always been here.
It's especially this group, because they were, mostly from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Couple, Chicago, LA. And they just have brought this all together and put it in a dope-ass sauce that we're about to figure out how it came about.
Yeah, to put something like this together for all these years for a free, family-oriented event, you got to take your hat off on that one, man. You got to take your hat off. That's a big deal.
I take my hat off, but my hair has not been cut in months.
Okay. As Dave Slade would say, he would take his hat off, but his hair is jacked.
gonna
So
tip my hat. Tip.
you can tip your hat. Tip your hat. Tip your hat.
Yep.
So
All right.
coming up, everybody, extra mild sauce. Talking about Soulnic. Stay tuned. DJ Big D,
Day Slayer.
Blend LA podcast. We do this for the culture of house music. Stay tuned. So Rhonda, were you there at the very beginning when this whole thing came together?
Yep, the guys were thinking about having an event for friends and family.
Mm-hmm.
And because I had been one of the organizers of the LAOC here in 84 Olympic Games,
Mm-hmm.
They thought that it would be a good fit to help bring something about, make it happen, make the event big.
Right.
And it was just a gathering, a very small gathering, 250 people. I had some food trucks out there, and then every year it kind of doubled.
Wow.
So I am responsible for pulling all the millions of bits and pieces, making it look good, making it feel good, and bringing some element of stuff to do during the day of Soulnic.
Yeah, I think one of the important elements, and funny, I'm single, so I'm married with no children, but so I don't think of family-oriented things as much as people that have families. And
Right.
your event has always been family-oriented, which I think is
Right.
a really important aspect of the whole.
We
Soulnic.
feel that's one of our biggest draws, especially being a free event.
Mhm.
We also want to make it so that I remember 2 years in a row, we had a family with the grandma in tow, the kids, the parents, and one grandma was sitting in a little pub tent in the shade.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what I like to see. So
Right.
that's what we're about. And the music and the sound and all that is left Drack and Derrick and the guys. They deal with the music, the sound, the stage, the lighting, the
Hey, Drack.
graphics, all that.
You're in LA and you're
Okay,
in
let me see if I
Chicago,
can give
D?
you a new invite. I'll give you a new
Are
invite.
you guys
Hang on
all
a
in
second.
LA?
All of it's in LA.
Okay.
Drack is the only one in Chicago.
Technical stuff here. Let me get Drack going
He started out in LA.
again.
though.
Right. Yeah, it's funny because the first Soulnic I went to was in 2012.
What?
Yeah, Darian actually took me. He's like, yo, this is going to be part of our conversation, but he's like, yo, I'm going to take you to this party. It's called Soulnic. I'm going to get there early because parking, this is when it was in Crystal Springs. He's like, parking is a nightmare, so I'm going to go set up the camp. And then you guys just roll in when you roll in.
Yeah.
When me and Sybil rolled in, I was like, holy smokes. That was when we could barbecue. And it was a beautiful thing. I've never seen anything like it. So I'm excited to have the conversation with you.
We've had people there from the very beginning, and their group just gets larger and larger. And now we take some reservations for really large groups.
Oh, wow.
And the Jaquette family from Louisiana and Texas, and a lot of them are here. They did a family reunion there last year. It was over 50 people.
One family, 50 people. That's an awful lot of. So people look forward to this thing. I mean, it's a
They
big.
fly out, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. I mean, I hear about it. I know about it. And around LA, you try to tell people like, this is an amazing thing. It's a family oriented event. And it's like pulling teeth a little bit out here. I don't know what that is. It's a geographical thing.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not
It's
sure.
that drive.
Yeah, because New York, Chicago, it'll be Atlanta, it'll be off the chain. It's a whole other thing. You know what I mean? People got to drive to Santa Monica in LA. They have a nosebleed. They're like, well, where do I got to go? It's too far, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, this is that event. This is that thing. That it's a real special event that is family oriented. It's about the music and the culture. So how can I'm always leery as to how, why people have this reservation, if they want to call it that.
Once they go one time, though, they're hooked.
That's for sure. That's the thing. That is definitely the thing. You guys were at Grand Performances near City Hall for a couple of years. Is that correct?
1 year.
1 year?
2014.
How was that experience in 2014?
I'll let the guys chime in as well, but it wasn't really our event. We brought Soulnic to their event, and there were about 20,000 people. So it was quite different. It's an inner city event,
right? Different
vibe, great music, great location, but definitely an inner city event.
A little bit more restrictions, I imagine. You had no coolers, no open alcohol, a lot of different things that in the ones that we went to, I think 2012, a little bit more open, a little bit more freer, and subsequently you basically kept that kind of moniker, kept that kind of restriction, if you want to call that, kept that kind of a buffer on the Soulnic event, keeping it alcohol free, no more grills, and I mean, we got
it was very different. Yeah, different rules. Most of the parks have some similar rules overlapping, but that was very different.
Right. Whose decision was it to take it to Hanson's Dam? How was that decision made?
Well, Chavez and I kind of run the ground level organization, so basically we got kicked out.
What? Out of Griffith Park?
Yeah.
Wow. What was their beef? What were they talking about?
Help you guys chime in whenever you want, but we outgrew it. We were too big.
Yeah, we got you.
You know how you were talking about the parking problem? Well, from a safety standpoint, we couldn't get fire engines in or paramedics in if there was a problem because it's one way in, one way out.
Right,
so they recognized that, and we really outgrew that area.
And Chavez joining in as well.
There he is.
Okay. All right. Where is he? Boom, coming up.
Nice studio you got back there, by the way.
I try to get it going in here. Try to make it look like something. I ain't doing nothing. It's just gathering dust. Ain't nothing. I know anything about that back there. Not one button.
Yes.
Mr. Chavez, how are you, sir? See you down there. He's frozen right now.
He's frozen in a serious look.
He's like, what the heck is going on? Okay, cool. Mr. Howard, we see you over there as well. Were you also part of the logistics team with the Hanson's Dam? Is he muted? He's muted.
No. Well, I have a little backstory because I disappeared for a little bit, just for personal reasons. So when I came back, we were in transition to Hanson Dam. So, but like Rhonda said, Rhonda and Chavez usually handles the logistics as far as that. So they were really hands-on with making the transition as smooth as it was. I mean, they really stepped in and found through the guidance of Griffith Park, because we wasn't really like kicked out. They just kind of said that we overgrew it. We outgrew our position, and they basically sent a recommendation for us to go, and they kind of paved the road by saying, hey, go talk to these people. They're good people, and it was a smooth transition in that way. So basically the event was loved by Griffith Park.
Well loved.
Yeah, to be able to make the transition smooth for us by introducing us to Hanson Dam. So
you know what's so ironic, and Darian, we talked about this a little bit too, because it didn't really dawn on me till maybe a year or two ago that Hanson Dam is also where Rodney King met his fate with those officers that night. And for us to bring it like that out there and just to be so much love for all people, but specifically for our people, these times, I think it would have been amazing if we could have had it this year.
I know.
But, just the way that things played out this year, just, it was really just a perfect storm between COVID and, which in my opinion, I believe, with everybody being quarantined and stay home, we are able to pay attention to a lot of things that have, we've experienced hardships with through, dealing with the police And it just forced everybody to pay attention to it. So, like, you know, what happened with George Floyd was like, wow. But, you know, all of that being said, you know, so many people wanted us to get back together this year.
Right.
They needed it.
That love was so needed. So needed.
They needed it. When Ferguson happened, we had an event.
Right.
And everyone felt the relief or the release of that tension, that anger, that, you know, just no questions answered, and then everyone just came together, and that was the most memorable one in terms of the feeling of the attendees, I think.
Right.
Well, Hanson's Dam is a very historical place.
It is
for Black Angelinos. It's like was the inkwell. I'm not sure if that's a derogatory term, a good term or not, but I've heard that when we like to get together at these spots. Because I've heard my father-in-law talks about it when he was a kid. He used to hang out there. My wife, when she was a kid, they used to hang out there. And I think some of the upperly mobile middle class and people, the working class folks, kind of like took over the area come summertime, so where they can swim and play tennis and have their family events a little bit out on the outskirts of LA, which was so to take it there is like almost taking it home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I thought was good. And what are the challenges you guys faced and overcame with the 2020 Soulnic party? What were some of the biggest ones you thought it was like?
The biggest challenge is always funding.
Mm-hmm.
And then accommodating large groups of people.
Sure.
You know, that's the big challenge, is keeping everything real. But we've never had a safety issue. People just have a good time. The artists show up and they spin great music. So the biggest challenge is funding.
Well, I know this year you had a debut. You had KG Superstar.
Right.
Debut. I thought that was a good look. I thought that was a real good look. He did a real good job. He was doing double duty. So shout out to him on that one.
You know, for this year, I mean, and you know, all festivals are all virtual this year. I mean, we didn't know what to expect. You know, I would say that the challenge every year is for us to try to have fun at the same time, because we're all working. It's like all business for all of us, you know.
Right.
You know, because we want to provide this experience for the people in the best possible way. So while everything's going on, you know, we invite our friends and family, and we can't really connect with them every year because, you know, we're just trying to make sure the event is exceptional without a hitch. But this year, when we did it virtually, it was almost like, you know, we had our own little backyard party. It was special because, like, we didn't know what to expect. And it just felt awkward. Like, man, how can we make this feel authentic?
Right.
And one of the things that really touched us was being able to watch, you know, I mean, we didn't expect like big numbers or anything, but just the consistency of the numbers that came in throughout the day, and just learning that people were setting up TVs in their backyard. I mean, they were really, you know, making the best out of this situation as we were in planning it. And that just really felt good. So at the end of it all for this year, I mean, it was really a great event. You know, it was at Derrick's house, his backyard, and I couldn't have been more pleased. And you know, shout out to Rock Sizzle too, who did her thing.
Oh yeah, Roxy did her thing for sure.
Yeah, she was great.
She's one of our favorites. She's one of our favorites. She's definitely doing a thing out there.
Too,
Right, sure.
It was an awesome day.
So what's next? 2021 is around the corner. What are we thinking? You thinking if we're all right and up and running with this whole COVID thing behind us, back out at the dam, hopefully, bigger and better? I think people, I mean, I would imagine that it's going to be quite something.
Yeah.
If it's possible, you know, insurance, there's always bureaucracy, right?
Right.
So the problem with music festivals is one of the challenges is always the insurance. And I don't know with that and the parks liability, if 2021 is going to be, from all the articles and studies that we've been looking at and what's been reported, it's pretty iffy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a new frontier for all of us, because, you know, even without COVID, as you grow, the permit costs increase, the insurance increases, and, you know, it's yet to be seen how insurance companies are going to deal with like events now, knowing that, you know, this is still out in the air, pun intended.
Right.
It's just, we just don't know, what to expect. And also too, because, we have, our fiscal sponsor and this benefits a nonprofit through the money that we do raise. How will our sponsors react? Are they able to contribute to events as they did in the past? Because everybody's quote unquote hurting now.
Yeah.
Because it's just, the economy is just not what it once was. So, there's a lot of unanswered questions, but we've always been optimistic, and it's just wait and see.
Gotcha. So if we're thinking no vaccine, we're pretty much maybe paring down, hopefully, with the COVID, and a possibility and or question arises whether or not we go back to doing a virtual distancing festival. Is that on the table as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, I think virtual events are really here to stay. I mean, like now, this was something that people may have thought about, and we actually did this 2 years ago. We tried to stream live, and we just learned a lot about having the proper bandwidth, and when you have like multiple people, thousands of people in any given space, everybody's kind of sharing that same network tower. So I'm sure you've been to events and you wonder like, wow, why is my phone draining, but the battery's draining so fast? I mean, there's a lot of technical aspects that go into that. So all that being said, I think now everybody's kind of comfortable and expecting to have this entertainment experience streamed. So, we're looking at that as whether, this is our only option or not. If we're back in the park, we still want to be able to provide this experience, because now this opens up a larger audience for us too. So yeah, we still want to be able to provide it.
Indeed. So you, Mr. Howard, we talked to you for a second, man. How are you doing today? Get you to chime in a little bit more here.
Quite well, man. Thank you for asking.
So what are your thoughts as well going forward, 2020 and beyond, 2021 rather, and beyond, doing things virtually? I mean, any special things you would like to improve on, eliminate, add to what you guys did this year, 2020?
Well, I mean, like my two counterparts added on, is that pretty much, I mean, the music transcends to everyone, no matter how we actually put it out. I mean, it proved that because of us doing it virtually, people still sent out so many heartwarming, messages during the virtual podcast. I mean, the cast. Right. Saying that, we're so glad you guys did this. We so needed this. I mean, even people who kind of just came through the backyard and just came, they were actually, saying, hey, we just had to come in, and feel, that atmosphere of what we missed for, because they wait a whole year. I mean, you wait a whole year for something, and then, you get to the point where you can't actually have access to that.
Right.
And they ask us to do it twice a year.
And where are you on that one, Rhonda? What do you think? Like, hell no.
Yeah.
Even virtually twice a year, no go?
We could probably do virtually twice a year.
A little bit logistically, a little bit easier, if I'm using the right term, easier, or a little bit more easy?
It's really great because we, like Drack said, we were just a nucleus for the first time instead of spread out at our different spots, our roles and doing work. So it was good that way.
Yeah, because I hit up a couple of folks that were in Atlanta, in New York, to join in virtually, because they couldn't be out here for the ones that you have in the park, and they were like, "Wow, what is this? This is." Matter of fact, I never reached out to them before because I know they probably couldn't come out, and what's the point of doing that? But now it's a whole different thing. It expands even more. So that's a whole audience out there. Like I said, people are bouncing it to their TVs, and they got the backyard lit up and got some speakers on the bad boy. First of all, the sound was really, really good. Initially, it's a little tough technically, but you guys got that bad boy worked out, and it started to fly after that. So I was telling everybody, like, put it on the TV, get your Bluetooth speaker out, and check out the Soulnic, man. So that was really good.
Well, shout out to Derrick and Drack. They always usually on and on about the sound. And and it would be really nice to be able to actually intertwine both of them because based on piggyback on what you're saying is that you want to be able to have people from Atlanta and all these people to still be able to fill it, and virtually will actually, as we witness, virtually will actually be able to afford them to be able to do so. You know, so to be able to have both of them next year, that would be amazing. But we are working together to be able to still be able to bring that. You know, we obviously was able to do it this time, but not on a larger scale. But next year, we definitely will be able to do it.
All right. So it's an element. I think you, if I hear you right, an element that you would keep even with COVID behind us and we're clear and whatnot going forward, to have the live performances and the virtual going simultaneously is something you guys are thinking about considering doing as well.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a perfect world, that would be amazing.
Yeah, there goes to your point as far as funding. You got some sponsorship that be coming in there, doing something more, almost like a TV show, like a programming. Almost.
Exactly. No, that sounds really good.
You know, almost like programming. Why not? Why not? Because I think that first of all, you guys don't get enough credit for what you've been doing at all. I don't you get enough credit. I think the Soulnic thing is so important. Just as important as Chosen Few and the cats over in Atlanta that do House in the Park. You guys are a family event. I think that's a major aspect to what you do. And the music and the culture of house music, keeping it, being the vanguards of that bad boy, that's no easy feat, as you're explaining, Rhonda. Like, it's a lot of logistics and funding and things that come together. So that's amazing. You guys have been doing for so long. You're going on what, 11 years now, I believe?
Well, this would have been our 10th anniversary.
10th anniversary.
Yeah.
Well, shout out, 10th anniversary. That's
you know, we actually should you know, we want to celebrate the anniversary, right? And even though it's kind of off on some years, because you know, actually we didn't have it 1 year as well, so it would have been
pace. Yeah. So we still on pace.
Yeah.
And you know, the other thing I want to show some appreciation to some of our suppliers too. We've been working with the same suppliers for almost all the years, and some of our sound guys and our stage guys and our rental people, they really come through for us most of the time. So
when does the planning begin for the event? Is it 6 months out, or basically right after one event is over for the year, you guys start right away? I mean, how much does it take leg room and headroom to get it going for the following year?
Yeah, Chavez and I, we try to start some of the funding part of it, and he drives that pretty well. Pretty much the beginning, like we let a month slow down and let the dust settle, and then. So
you're 11 months out, pretty much. Wow. Chavez.
Yeah, but my part, the operational side, that starts in January.
Wow. So what about your sponsors? Talk to me about your sponsors who have been there from the very beginning or earlier on in the event that have been supporters and saw the vision of Soulnic and who continue to still support you. Who have they been?
Chavez.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was having technical difficulties. So I was actually just sitting back enjoying the conversation. Sponsors that have been there from the beginning. Well, we had a lot of sponsors in and out, but recently, Capital Group, Marvista Investment Professionals, or partners, I should say, they're our biggest sponsor. Mm-hmm. We've had Will and Jada Smith's Foundation. Just recently, Rhonda, through her work, has got the Department of Cultural Affairs for California, or for Los Angeles, I should say, on board. And you know, and then we've had, you know, sponsors here and there. De Leon brought Jarritos 1 year, one coconut water. Just through the years, we've had various people.
That's great, man. Because I imagine something like this takes a lot of hands on deck, a lot of support, a lot of legwork. I imagine you guys also have a team that help you out, and friends and family that pitch in to get it going. I mean, how is that done? How's the staffing going? How deep are you on that to get this bad boy off the ground here?
That's the number 2 hard part. Very limited staffing. Mm-hmm. So
a lot of
we have friends that come out and support us. you know, quite a bit, well, you know, a handful of friends and family that come out and support us, but we really are struggling with the whole staffing aspect, which comes back to funding. So
Sure.
I mean, we've had friends, and especially in the beginning years, who would volunteer, but then as the event gets on its way, they magically disappear.
Yeah, I know what that's like. A little fluttering. But your event is free too. You have a free
Hey, man.
event.
It's just like the club. Everybody want to help you carry records in to get in, but afterwards it's like, I'm good. All right, man. See you next.
see you next time.
Wow.
It's on a bigger scale, you know.
That's amazing. Some things don't change, man. Some things never change. Never change.
No.
Never.
So what's big? What's big? What would you consider the pivotal point for Soulnic as the years that you were going forward and things got off its ground, going to something where you can see yourself saying that, wow, this is really something really, really important, something that there is no turning back to. There is no before Soulnic. It's only now and before going forward. What moment was that for you guys? That we gotta keep this bad boy going no matter what, as much as we possibly
Year
can.
one,
But
man.
year one. Okay.
Absolutely.
For me-
It's like, I mean, we didn't know what to expect. And then when you look up at the end of the day, it's like 300 people there. That was a lot for us. That was a lot, you know, because like I said, we didn't know what to expect.
Right.
You know?
We never advertised, so
And as a matter of fact,
Press,
As
you
a
know?
matter of fact, in year one, when we did it, DeLeon came running to me talking about Wayne Williams is here. I looked at DeLeon and I said, dude, get the hell out of here. Wayne Williams is not here. Why would Wayne Williams be at our little picnic?
Right. Wow.
And sure enough, a few seconds later, I look and I'm like, hold on. What the hell? So Wayne walks over and I started talking to him. We sat down and spoke for a long time. And dude, a lot of this is really funny. So he says, I'm in town for the Grammys, for like a Grammy event, not the Grammys, but there was some event going on.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, someone tells me that there are some guys from Chicago doing a picnic like your picnic. So he said, I called the first person to find out and they didn't know about it. But he said the second person I called, they told me about it. Drack, I think it was Isley, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he ended up calling Isley.
Okay.
So he was like, man, he sat there and we were talking and he says, man, like, he said, you guys right now, this group of people is probably where we were in our 5th year. So
Wow.
he said, let me give you a heads up. You want to start working on getting some funding. You want to start looking at other venues because you're going to outgrow this venue. Like he just started telling me stuff and I'm looking at this dude laughing like, dude, you're crazy. Like we're just doing a little picnic. No big deal. And he's like, look, I'm trying to tell you what's going to end up happening. Cause he said, this is like us in year 5. And I'm like, all right, whatever. And then sure enough, in year 3, when we had like an explosion of people, we went from like 300 people in year 1 to like 500 or 600 people in year 2 to like 2,500 to 3,000 people in the 3rd year.
Wow.
And for me, I think that was when it got to a point where, oh, we got to keep it going. Because now people, that was the social media explosion. As people were coming in, I was asking people like, hold on, how did you hear about this? And people were telling me they either received text or somebody shot it on Twitter or on Facebook. So I'm like, wow, this is crazy. People just start pouring in.
Yeah, that was my pivotal year too, as we had so many more people than we had planned for. I couldn't even get to my booth. I had to step over people to get to my booth.
Wow. So you guys are in logistics. Rhonda, were you freaking out at that point?
Yes, I did. And so did the park.
Yes. Yeah.
But now your hands is down. I mean, when this bad boy goes back up, how are they capacity-wise to handle?
We have plenty of room.
Plenty of room.
Yeah, we're now at about 6,000. and we can grow to probably 15 easily.
Yeah,
Right.
they said because they have plenty enough parking. The parking that we have on site is probably 3 times more parking than we had at Griffith Park.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 other big fields that are not that far away where we could shuttle people in. So we can
Right.
literally go to like probably 15,000, 20,000 people.
Fantastic. That's a good spot to be in for a while before anything gets a little crazy. Up to 20,000 people. That's a full-fledged
But
festival, right?
Rhonda and I don't want to hear 15 to 20,000 people talk unless we got 15 to 20,000 people money.
Okay, that's the next coin. That's the next shoe to drop. That's the next. How can you monetize this? Or is that something you guys are thinking about down the road? How's that happen?
It's a constant conversation.
Well, I mean, the big thing is, I mean, from a monetary standpoint, if we can get more sponsors involved, personally, I would like to do it that way.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean, we have parking that we could actually charge for.
Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, I would really love for it. And it's just me personally, and they know this. I would really just love it to be just a free event, because if it could be fully funded.
Gotcha. Is that must be an uphill battle? That's probably one of the biggest challenges you imagine, keeping it free and getting it funded.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
We get, you know, we have some revenue streams with our promo items, and then we also have vendors. You know, we were up to 20 vendors last year. So that helps. The parking helps. But the Chavez is right. It's definitely the sponsors, and we're kind of like in that cusp where we're too big for some, but not too big enough for some of the marketing sponsors, some of the big guys.
Right.
And so when you look at like Coachella and how they grew up, you know, we're kind of there. We had to cancel 1 year. They had to cancel 1 year. You know,
Right.
we're still trying to try to get there. But, you know, they all charge. So it's kind of a no-brainer.
I don't think I don't know. For me, hey, I would pay no problem. I don't expect an event at the caliber of which you guys put it on to be free.
Yeah.
I just don't expect it to be free. You know what I mean?
If it wasn't for the fact that it was a family event, if it was
Gotcha.
just adults, that's personally what I'd look at is the families. Like some people may have 2, 3, 4, like, you know,
Got it.
if it's possible to get it sponsored, like if it's,
you know,
I agree.
if it's possible to have it as a fully funded sponsored event, to me, that is just really giving back to your community.
I got you.
Really giving back to your overall community,
Got you.
creating that 1 day a year where people literally could just come out, support the vendors, buy merch, all this other stuff, but paying at the door is not even a charge, because I know how I feel about events like that. I appreciate events like that.
Right. They're few and far between for events like that, especially at the caliber of music. Drack, you were about to say something.
well, I was just about to say that, you know, we do a lot of talk about how important events are to us, to the soul, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, how many times can we get our whole family together
True.
and connect with other families like ours? And that is the backdrop. That's always been the backdrop of Soulnic, and that's what really makes it special. You know, that should be something that should be free, but at the end of the day, this is a business, and, you know, there's a lot of expenses that go into this. You know, again, like Rhonda said, this is an ongoing conversation, and if there is any corner that we've had to turn, it's this one right here, because we're at this point where we're experiencing a lot of physical growth, but in order to take care of that, you know, we have to have the funds there.
Sure. Your everything goes up. Your insurance, your liability, everything is exponential based on the popularity of the event. It kind of like feeds onto itself, I imagine.
Yeah.
The new challenge with COVID and shutting a lot of companies down is like, will those opportunities for sponsors be available to us the way they were before? And it's just a new frontier for us. So we'll see.
Wow, that's a lot of challenges, man. That's a lot to think about. And
A lot of
you guys
moving parts.
Yeah. Well, from the bottom of my heart, man, I appreciate what you guys have been doing for all of these years. It's almost 10 years plus, man. So big up to the entire Mild Sauce crew. And I wanted to talk about that. I talked to Drack about it, the extra mild sauce. That was from Harold's Chicken, I believe.
Yes.
And I gotta get some of that next time I go to Chicago.
Can
For
I
sure.
can I interject?
Go
Yes.
right ahead.
When I first went to Soulnic in 2012, I looked at the brochure. I'm like, extra mild sauce. I had no idea what the group was. I didn't have any idea what mild sauce was until last night when I Googled it. And from what I gather, there are even some people on the north side of Chicago that don't even know what it is. So can you tell me what exactly is mild sauce? Is it just exclusive to the south side? And how did you come up with the name extra mild sauce?
No, absolutely not. Especially now. I mean, it used to be. It used to be probably specific to the South Side, but
Okay.
it really started out as a joke. So we were sitting around as we came together, at Derrick. Derrick used to live downtown, and he had a loft down there, and we met. I was DJing parties throughout Hollywood and wanted to do something different because I was doing like more of the mainstream hip hop, which is what I came up in radio, and I still love. But I have a absolute love and affinity for house. So that's just as big a part of me as hip hop has always been. Okay. So I was looking for that outlet. And then I ended up connecting with Chavez after being out there for a while because we went to high school together and just bumped into each other. He was at an event that I was doing and I happened to be playing some house music. He connected me with Derrick, who we saw at another event, and De Leon came in, who I already knew. So we said, look, we are from Chicago. We might as well just all get to bring our resources together and do it like we do back home. Doing it like we do back home, the whole goal was to do an event like Chosen Few because Summertime Shop, before Kanye made that popular, that's the thing we did. We got together in the park. We played house music. Chosen Few being a pinnacle, not the only one. There's been a lot of other, smaller events around town, but this is part of our culture, being in the park. Okay. And having DJs out there do our thing. But before we had to do that, we knew we had to build a base. So we said, hey, man, we need to just make a name for ourselves, reach out to our people that are here, transplanted from Chicago. But let's do it without calling ourselves the Chicago crew, because that was just corny, right? So what do we call ourselves that says Chicago without saying Chicago? Extra mild sauce. So that was just supposed to be a joke. It stuck. And we ended up promoting parties in Hollywood with the name, and it just, people knew. They saw the name, they smiled, they knew what it was, they told a friend, and we ended up having our first event in February of 2009 at this spot called Play in Hollywood. I don't know what it's called now. It's been so many.
It was Madame Royale's, but then I think it changed.
Right. So we spent a year doing that. A whole year we went there, Hollywood Canteen, Little Temple, doing, mostly house events, but we did some other like fusion events. Golden Stereo was a big night for us, along with DJ A-Ski. And then the following year, we had our first Soulnic at Griffith Park, 2010. And we brought A-Ski on in along with Gar Trinidad, some other people. And DJ Life from the Bay, and it was amazing. And then the rest is history. So that is extra mild sauce and how we came about.
You got that one, Tracy?
Well, one of the things that he didn't really point on is that, and it might have came through, but just to overemphasize is that the extra mild sauce is that when you get the chicken, it's not about the chicken.
Really?
It's the mild sauce, and people put extra on it to make it even better. You see what I'm saying? So it's
Thank you, Dalian. So I did bring that point up. Thank you for reminding me, because we talked earlier, and that's in the connection with the house scene, which was already there in LA and thriving. We were that extra mild sauce, that extra flavor that was already good. So that's how we were able to like connect the dots and have it all make sense. So, brother, thank you for reminding me.
No worries.
Yo, and real quick, just so you know that, like, really, all of this came together through De Leon, because when Drack called me up and we had a discussion and we drove around and we found that location, I told him, I said, dude, do you know this DJ named Derrick Wize? And he was like, nah. I said, yo, this dude spins house well and he's from the shop. And what happened was De Leon used to do parties. So De Leon did a Chicago Bears party at
That's
this
right.
restaurant on 3rd Street Promenade, and Derrick was DJing.
Right.
And Derrick was DJing so well in between the during the commercials and halftime. When halftime came, we were like, "Yo, can we just move these tables?" De Leon went to the owner and said, "Can we move the tables? Like, we want to party up here."
Nice.
So from that point, I remembered Derrick, and this was probably a year later when Drack hit me up. So I'm like, "Yo." So we called Derrick up. I called Derrick and I said, "Hey, you probably don't remember me, dude, but you DJ'd at De Leon's party. And I said, like, I want to meet with you tomorrow to talk about something." So we met at the spot in Chinatown. What's the name of Grand Star?
Okay.
So we ended up meeting. Me and Drack met with him, and all we really said was like, "Hey," he sat down. We were like, "Hey, we want to throw a party," and Derrick was like, "I'm in." We didn't get a chance. He was like, "I'm in." I'm like, "Wow." So that came from De Leon, and then De Leon actually did a party with Drack as well, where Drack was DJing. So, De Leon was doing parties before. De Leon did parties before we did Extra Mile Sauce. And I was supporting him in his parties because I saw what he was doing. And I saw how he was bringing people together. So big ups to De Leon, because he really, if it wasn't for him doing what he was doing previously to Extra Mile Sauce, there wouldn't be an Extra Mile Sauce.
Indeed. Shout out to you, De Leon.
Yes. So in order to be a brother,
It was really, man. It's just really because I came from Chicago and I moved here and I was working at the Avalon doing after hour powers, and to see how they were doing the after hours with the electronic music and all that stuff, and they would have thousands and thousands. I was like, wow. And they would throw in a little bit of house music every time, and I'm like, that's not what I'm used to. And I'm like, I want to be able to have some music here. So I would do like little offset Chicago parties with people that I knew, and ended up meeting Drack through one of our friends, Capricia. Shout out to Capricia.
You are taking me down memory lane right now. This is crazy.
Yeah, I wanted to do a birthday party, and she was like, "My friend Drack is spinning at this club. You should call him." And I did, and and then I invited all these people, and he was like, "Man, we know the same people." He's like, "We should do some other stuff together." And then me and Drack started doing some more parties together with Leland. Shout out to Leland.
Yeah, 9,000 Lounge.
Yeah, and that's how he and I came together. And then, of course, the story goes to where him and Chavez linked back up, and the rest is history, man. It's just
And Drack invited me to De Leon's party. That's how I met De Leon. The party that Drack DJ'd at for De Leon was the party that I met De Leon.
Wow.
I met Drack a week before. When I ran into Drack, he was DJing. It was like my second week in LA. Drack was DJing at Nirvana in Beverly Hills. And when I walked
that spot. Great spot.
And when I walked in, I heard like a Chicago, like it was a Chip E. It was something he was playing that was straight up Chicago artist. And I'm like, I thought they didn't like house in LA. Like, because people kept telling me they didn't like house music. Yeah. So I went back to the back and it was Drack. And then he was like, "Hey, this weekend or either next weekend, I'm DJing this party for this guy who's from Chicago." It was De Leon.
Tight. Real tight. So you guys have been rolling ever since. And Rhonda, were you there at the beginning as well? How did you get together with the rest of the guys in the
I came in at the end. I went to maybe a couple of their events. We did a big New Year's thing at a castle up in the Hollywood Hills. And I helped them with that.
I remember that one.
We were there. I was there.
Yeah, I was at the door. We did some. Yeah. So, but no, they really once we got the picnic idea, discussion started. That's where I really came in 100%. Yeah.
Fantastic.
In order to be a brother or a sister in sauce, do you have to be from Chicago?
I'm not.
Oh, you're from LA?
He's from LA.
I am.
Okay.
Oh no, absolutely not. And
so
then
that's possible.
It is.
it's possible.
And then of course our resident DJs are from LA and New York. As you know, with Young One and
yes,
Tailwind. So we came together, but everybody's there in LA. I'm in Chicago right now, but man, LA's been good to us, man. It's family. You know.
Yeah, you guys run a real tight crew. The music is always good from the very first beat at what 11 a.m. when the yoga starts and everything. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. I definitely am making 10 a.m. So that's why I say 11. From that until the very, very end, it's quite something to behold. You know what I mean? It's a
Yeah.
family, lovely
Trying to
event.
get people to leave is really hard.
Yeah, that's a tough one. We made the mistake that last year of DJing the after party, and I'm like, you know what? I'd rather be at the event than playing. Like you said, I'd rather help bring the records in than be at the party doing something else. So next time when we all get through this
for
whole COVID
sure.
thing, we're not planning any events that day. We're going to be at your spot for sure, and lean on us. And
Well,
you
hopefully on
first.
stage.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's
I know.
that's
Overdue too, you know.
that's not even the thing. I will carry some records, sell some T-shirts, whatever. Carry
Well, I'm
some
gonna hold you
water.
to that. I always
Please
need
do.
help in the booth.
We are dead serious about that. This thing is important, and it takes everybody. It takes a village to put this bad boy together. So we're happy to be any which way you may need our help. We're here for that. We're here for that.
Drack, one of my questions before you posted that awesome statement was, how do you guys select your DJs year to year? How do you come up with your lineup?
There's a list. I mean, you know, a lot of people want to be a part of this, and there's really only so much time. You know, we definitely, you know, there's a, you know, you got to be able to play well and play to the audience. We like to have balance too. You know, we want to have representation of women every year on there. You know, the only woman we have right now that's a resident is young. I keep saying young one, but it's Nandi. You know, to speak to that, Nandi has been with us since she's 11, and it's really hard. It's watching anyone grow. To come out of that, you know. So she started out as DJ Young One, and now she's 90. And so forgive me if I slipped, and, you know, I'm sure it's just like virtually hitting me in the back of the head. 90. We went over this so many times, you know.
And now we got KG up on the decks. I mean, that's something.
Absolutely. And
that's something. He does a hell of a job, by the way, man. Shout out to him. Hell of a job.
He's been very supportive as our MC, and he shows up every year. Just volunteers, and he's honed his skill as our MC for the event, and we get him to say all the announcements that we need, and so we really appreciate his participation all these years.
I think in part that's why people don't want to leave. The energy is always up at that level. It's always going from 10 o'clock on. 10 o'clock on.
I mean, even when we went to Chicago to do the beach party, it was like not really considering him because it's like we going to Chicago. And he took offense to that and was like, hold on. What do y'all mean you going to Chicago without me? He's like, y'all not going to Chicago without me. And sure enough, you know what I'm saying? He popped up, came and rocked with us.
Yeah.
That was a wonderful day too, by the way. That was, man, I mean, we went from, you know, pretty much the same hours or something, but we went a little later, and we were supposed to end it at 10, but, you know, Rhonda, her point is saying it's hard to get people to leave. We were supposed to get out at 11, and I mean, the police showed up, and they were just like, keep going, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it was, we probably left out of there like 11:30 or something like that. Wow. It was great because, you know, it was nighttime and fireworks and Navy Pier. It was just, it was a really weather cooperated, you know, I mean, because it gets kind of dicey sometimes, you know, up here like Southern California where it doesn't really rain. It's like that was kind of over my head, like, oh God, I hope I didn't invite everybody to Chicago and they just rain on us. But the weather looks great.
Fantastic.
Just an awesome day. Awesome day. So
very nice. Well,
I gotta get up here, man, when outside opens back up.
I know. This year was going to be a big one for us. We were trying to make it over to Chosen Few as well.
Yeah.
We're trying to catch that one to show some support and some love to those guys as well. But
dude, Chosen Few, let me tell you, man, Chosen Few is ridiculous. It is ridiculous, obnoxious. You literally hear the sound system from a mile. You're walking up and you're a mile away.
Wow.
You're a mile away.
You can feel it.
You hear the sound. It's light, but you hear the slight thump. And then when you get there, you're literally walking. I think they have like 30,000, 40. You walk through a sea of people. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you're talking about the whole city of Chicago with all the violence. And I'm sitting the last time we went, I'm seeing people that I know are from opposing gangs. Like I see them there, and I'm like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But nothing pops off.
All love.
Like
man.
nothing pops off.
That's the power of music, period.
Exactly.
And that's the power of house music in particular.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Because if it was hip hop, they'd be fighting.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Stop.
I mean,
Well, listen, Derrick isn't here. For some reason we couldn't get him in on this conversation, but we want to thank each and every one of you, DeLeon, Chavez, Drack, and Rhonda for joining the Blend LA podcast. Soulnic.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you
This
so
was
much.
great.
We do this with the culture of house music, and for you guys as well, we're keeping it going. Shout out to Mild Sauce.
I want to thank you
Extra
all.
mild sauce. What am I saying?
Extra mild
mild.
sauce.
But people call it mild sauce for short anyway.
See, now I gotta get on a plane and go get some of that chicken. I don't understand. It's about the
It's
sauce.
a Harold's here.
yes.
It's a Harold's here in
Yeah.
Hollywood.
And I heard it's legit. I haven't been there,
It's
but I
official.
heard it's legit.
Okay. Enough said. I'm ordering
Because
from-
Harold's from Chicago, right?
Yeah, it's the corporate office opened it up. So it's when I say it's official, they fly everything in from Chicago.
There you go.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Well, thank you guys for coming and joining and sharing.
Thank you for all you do.
All right, send me your
Indeed.
address so I can mail you your shirts.
Indeed. Thank you guys very much.
All
Next
right.
time.
Okay,
guys.
thank
Okay.
you.
We out.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Be
it.
safe.
Bye-bye. That was the Mild Sauce crew, extra Mild Sauce crew out of Chicago and LA. Drack Muse, Rhonda Wagner, DeLeon Howard III, and Chavez Frazier. Derrick Wize wasn't in attendance this particular time, but we'll hopefully get him down the line. They really had broken it down, keeping the culture of house music and Soulnic going down in Los Angeles for over 9 years. I believe 2020 would have been their 10th anniversary.
Yes.
Sorry.
Was
Was their 20th anniversary,
Yes.
10th anniversary, but they couldn't do it since COVID had been in effect. So
but they did do it. They did the backyard edition.
indeed, which was virtual. If you
Live
want to get a chance, it's probably on YouTube. Go check that out.
Yep.
And who knows, coming up next year, maybe incorporation of virtual live stream and in person. I hope to see that happen. I think they're a remarkable crew. I think what they do is important for the culture of house music, and any way possible, the AMP Collective can help out. We will be there.
Yes, indeed. I'm glad we did this episode with the Extra Mild Sauce crew. They are, I think, very important to this thing we called house, and we're glad everybody's safe and sound in these crazy times of COVID. And yeah,
That'd be yeah. Well, let's hoist the glass over.
host of the glass.
Bing. Extra Mild Sauce crew. Soulnic.
Soulnic.
Can't wait for the next one, wherever it may be, online, streaming only, or in person. The AMP Collective is riding. We right there with y'all, man. It's important that this culture moves forward, and you guys are vanguards of it. In any which way or shape or form, the AMP Collective can help out. Again, we will be there. Thank you so much. And that'll do it for this episode of The Culture of House Music. My name is DJ Big D.
And I am Day Slayer.
And we gonna see you when we see you. Talk to you then. Peace.